It's good to be back. You missed me. I missed you too. Blow something up. I already did that.
What's going on? Welcome back to the channel and another episode of the Bourbon Talks. That's right, it's my midweek show where I sit back, have a drink, and we talk about what's going on in the world of movies, TV shows, video games, and comics. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's say hi to the chat real quick. I've been away for a few minutes. Let's play a little catch up tonight. How about Rhodes Rants? Starts off with what? What are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean what? I responded with, what's up? According to Christy, hey, Fox, saw you tags the boys. Can't wait to hear your opinion on it. I have opinions, Christy. Oh, I have opinions. Tommy, with the ever-changing name, the Guinea Pig Collective. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by. Lost Jedi 22 says, hey, Tommy. And he says, welcome back. I'm assuming he's talking to me. Thanks so much for having me. Hey, Christina. Ms. Fernandez, how are you? Good to see you. Keg 44. Howdy. How you doing? Oh, man. Great. Let me just start off by saying it's really nice to have some people actually in the chat. We'll be honest with you. And it's, of my own doing, being stepped away for so long, I was kind of a little bit worried about that. You understand. It's like, should I go on? I don't know. But yeah, we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some stuff tonight. Fanzy Vids, man, how are you doing? We still got to get together and watch a movie whenever they decide to, open up the rest of the world. Michael Brent, man, how you doing? The Last Dragon trailer from... Oh, see, they do this to me right when I'm going on. I might have to do a video on that later. Yo! So yeah, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little baffled, a little perplexed. Okay, listen. I'm going for 5 minutes. Okay, give or take a few months. And y'all let Brie Larson have a YouTube channel? But okay, we're gonna table that for a second. Okay, maybe we'll talk about that later. But anyway, listen. Before we get started, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that we're basically days away from one of the most historic events in our nation's history. An event with the results of which will lead this country down two very distinct paths. A path of just dark, dim, no hope, an apocalyptic future, really. A barren wasteland where hope and love and happiness and joy don't exist. And there's another path that is a bright and shiny utopian view of the future where, imagination can begin to flow again and cats and dogs can finally live together in peace. And of course, I'm talking about the Mandalorian 2 season premiere. What do you think I was talking about? The trailer dropped a little while back, and then on Monday Night Football, they gave us a special look. I really enjoyed the first season, so let's take a look at this new footage, and I'll share some thoughts.
Razor Crest, stand down.
I'm here on business. I need your help. I've been quested to bring this one back to its kind. If I can locate other Mandalorians, they can guide me.
Other Mandalorians. I don't know how I feel about that.
This is no place for a child.
I mean, it still looks really good.
Wherever I go, he goes.
I think I saw Lord Callis talk about this. That's the blue guy from season 1, I think, episode 1, maybe, or someone in the same race. Looks good.
Here we go.
Taking off the jetpack.
October 30th, only on Disney Plus.
Okay, so what do I think about that? I mean, it looks good. It looks good. But here's the thing. I think that I feel.
Last night, a new season 2 trailer for The Mandalorian debuted during Monday Night
Sorry about that.
Football. I was watching the game.
I've been away for a while. You got to give me a break. But it's funny. I feel exactly the same way I felt about the beginning of season 1 because of what Disney has done with Star Wars in general. It looks good. It has a little bit of street cred, right? Because we saw season 1, but in my opinion, they kind of limped across the finish line. Started out of the gate hard, fast, steady. And then they didn't stick the landing. It's a lot like what they did with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We get to the end. We go through all this great stuff. Everybody's invested 10 years of great filmmaking, great stories, action. And then we get Brie Larson shoved in there with Captain Marvel at the last second. We kind of shoehorn the movie in, and then we got to have the girl power moment in the movie. Felt really out of place. It's like you could tell they were just trying to get something in there before they wrapped it up. For me, I kind of got that same vibe when they had the child healing Grief Karga, who, by the way, looks like M. Bison from Street Fighter for some reason. I don't know. I mean, I like Street Fighter, but I don't know what that look is. So just me, just an observation. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I'm worried now because I don't know what they're going to do with the series, with these characters. We see that they're changing everything with Star Wars now. They're changing the Force. They are shoehorning things in. I said, let me get back to what I was talking about with the child healing grief. I felt they just shoved that in there to get ready for the Rise of Skywalker. Let's just get that in there and so we can sort of it'll validate the events of that movie, right? Let's just put that in there. I didn't feel that was earned. I like the fact that the child has some Force ability, but I think it's too much. I think it's overblown. I think that his reaction to the rhinoceros creature that was charging at them should have been more of like just like an explosion, a quick reaction, and not so much this display of awesome skill of the Force, where it actually lifts up the creature, slams it down. All that. I thought that was a little bit heavy-handed, So yeah, I mean they're changing the Force in the High Republic, and let's not forget this. I touched on this briefly when I was on the Dark Council. Palpatine's alive. So all these thoughts that we have that maybe the Mandalorian was going to fill in some of the blanks, maybe tell us more about Snoke, tell us more about what happened, what was everybody else up to. I don't know that we're going to get that per se. I think it's going to be more of I just don't want to have them try to explain what happened in the Rise of Skywalker with supplemental material. And I believe that's what they're doing. I think you're going to see that you're seeing that with the comics, some of the video games. And I'm afraid that this is also going to be an example of that, and I just don't want to see that. I think that it could be a really big missed opportunity to try to shoehorn that stuff in. And I just don't see how we're going to get around it. I mean, it's just, to me, it is what it is at this point, right? I mean, we got what we got. Reset my camera here. There we go. We got what we got, right? It's probably the best it's ever going to be. I think at this point, it's all downhill from here. I think Star Wars is like a big circus tent, right? I mean, the main big top tent, and all the supporting posts have fallen down. All the ropes that tie, to secure everything, all the stakes, that's all been pulled up. And the only thing left, right, is just this one tall pole in the middle, right? That's all the Star Wars is now. And I think that's actually the Mandalorian. What do they have left? I think that's all we have, right? And if this thing falls, where do they go from here? I don't know that you can fix it. I don't think that it's ever going to be what it was. I really don't. And I don't have much hope for what it's going to be. Nothing short of stop. You're just completely scrapping everything they've done. You know they're not going to do that. They're going to try to, I think, with everything that's successful, Mandalorian being that one little bright spot in this whole Disney Star Wars debacle. I think they're going to try and shoehorn stuff in to make everything else make sense. And that's going to do a great disservice to the show. The show that was great. It was small. It was simple. And people responded to it. So I know I had a little issue there with the camera. Sorry about that. Haven't done this in a while. Be patient with me. So let me check in back with the chat. See, wow, look at all these people jumping in. Okay, John 3PO, firm handshakes. Good to see you again, brother. Love you, brother. Love you too. Yes. How many episodes for season 2? I think 8, Christy. I think it's the same number that they had last season, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on that. Happy Dinosaur. I saw you sneaking in there, brother. Good to see you. OG Star Wars. Oh, she is gracing my small little stream. Thank you so much for stopping by. Wow. Yeah, I'm honored. Thanks. Yeah, so I think for those of you that are fans of the show, the Bourbon Talks, it's that time. It is that time for this week's Manly Moment.
Manly Moment. Are you not entertained?
Outstanding. Toxic masculinity at its finest. Gladiator, the great movie. Russell Crowe, maybe one of his better or best roles ever. Joaquin Phoenix is just a great villain in that. One of his many great roles. Of course, the star of The Joker, one of the best movies, if not the best movie of last year. Really, really good. So now we got to talk about The Boys. The Boys. Okay, so let me just preface this, okay? I saw all seasons, right? Every episode, season 1, season 2, I've seen them all, okay? So it's not like I watched it once or twice and I bailed on it, okay? I gave it a shot. I think I started watching it when they were about 4, they were maybe 2 or 3 seasons in. I'm sorry, 2 or 3 episodes in on season 2. And so I was able to binge the first season, get caught up pretty quick, season 2, and then finish it out. I got some thoughts, okay? So let me just say by this. I think they did something that maybe it was a mistake that Star Wars also made. I'm sorry, Star Trek also made, where, you start off blowing up planets. Where do you go from there? I mean, it's great to get that shock, that awe, that, oh my God, it's crazy. But then where do you go from there? I mean, episode 1, we're blowing up the girlfriend, right? Oh, before we go any farther, I guess spoilers. At this point, we're going to talk about some minor spoilers for season 1, season 2. I'm not going to get really into the weeds. I'm just going to give you my overall impressions. So yeah, we're blowing up the girlfriend. Episode 1. We kind of established that every single superhero has no redeeming qualities except for Starlight. This is all episode 1, right? It's bad stuff. I think you played your hand too early. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it wasn't filmed well, wasn't shot well, acted well. I think that you got a lot of great performances in this, but I felt like they were running out of the gate too damn fast. So then where do you go from there? Like I said, nobody has any redeeming qualities except for Starlight, which we'll get to her in a second. I really think they had an opportunity to really play out the Homelander thing. Is he evil? Is he bad? Is he not? How bad is he? He's kind of weird. He's got some odd hangups. I think you could have played that out for like maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and then you have the reveal of, oh, well, he's gone. I think that you reveal that over time, and eventually we find out, and then it's like a huge revelation. Right? It's like a horror. It's like, oh no, This Superman character is actually pure evil. But by the end of the first episode, he's cutting planes in half. So that for me, I think they could have still continued on with the storyline, and I think that could have been better. The story, I think, would have been better served if they would reveal that later, deeper into the first season, at least maybe halfway. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about Starlight. Listen, okay, if you are a Christian and you're gonna partake of anything that Hollywood has to offer, you're gonna have to take it on the chin, right? I mean, nobody's going to be looking for a good, accurate representation of Christian values in Hollywood, right? It is what it is. So if you're going to partake of it, you got to have a thick skin. All right. So I'm not being a thin skin, prude or anything. I'm just going to kind of tell you how my take on it. Okay. I thought that it was, you're going to bash Christianity. Well, fine. We've seen that over and over and over again. But the issue I had was like, what they did with the character. They wanted Starlight to have this big moment where she comes out and she just, Christianity's wrong, and if anybody tells you what happens when you die, they're lying, I get they wanted to have that moment, but the way they had it was ridiculous. I mean, it actually makes her character look stupid. She's walking through the, the convention or whatever, and she sees these signs like, one man plus one woman equals marriage. I mean, and she acts like she's shocked by that. Oh no, they don't embrace, gay marriage. What? That's weird. Well, I mean, I'm going to just flat out say, what are you, stupid? I mean, she goes on and on in multiple episodes talking about how she, the Christians for capes or capes for Christians or whatever, or crusaders or whatever. She's so deep embedded into the Christian faith, right? That she's blown away by, and so then she sees that. And then she's, having the little round table talking to the teens, and you can see she's appalled that she has to speak against having sex before marriage. I mean, this is all standard stuff. People that aren't Christians understand that. That's what Christians believe, right? It just makes her character seem just. I mean, she's either completely oblivious, like she just didn't pay attention to anything at all, or she's just a fool, she's stupid, and I thought that here's the one character we're supposed to like, right? The one superhero that's supposed to be, that have redeeming qualities, right? To be someone we could possibly identify with. And she's having her moment, and it's so staged and propped up. It's so disingenuous. I thought it was really stupid. I think that if you wanted to have that moment, here's what you do. When she finds out about Compound V, and that she was injected with Compound V, and her mom knew about it. And her mom, her entire life was saying, the reason you have these powers is because God gave them to you. Well, then that's the revelation, right? Mom lied to me. Now my concept of being blessed by God, that is completely shattered, right? That's gone. Okay, well, that feels earned. That feels like, okay, I can identify with that. Wow, you've been lied to your entire life. That could be a crisis of faith that everybody could identify with. But to me, the way it was done, I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought it was really, really, it could have been handled way better. And you could have still had that moment in the script, in the season, have that crisis of faith. But to me, she just comes off as stupid. The season 1 cliffhanger. That was a soap opera. That was a soap opera ending. What? She's alive? His wife's alive? It's a show about superheroes. And your big, finale is his wife's alive? What? Why didn't we have, I don't know, a meteor hurtling toward Earth, and we find out that Homelander isn't as strong as he needs to be, and so some rando superhero has to come in and save the day? I mean, something, right? Wouldn't that be better? I don't know. It just seemed really, really kind of just a little weak. Their powers are inconsistent. Okay, so, if you take Compound V, is everybody bulletproof? Just answer me that. Is everybody bulletproof? Because Starlight clearly has no Superman-ish powers. she draws electricity and she can blast it out. So I kind of get that. She shows some strength in that episode 1 where she's punching holes in brick walls and picking up a car. Okay, so she's got some strength. But like, it's never established that she's bulletproof. And then she gets shot in the chest with the 50 cal round, twice. And it's like, oh, she's good. But if that's the case, so let's assume Compound V makes everybody bulletproof. That's one of your standard. There's like a list, like, okay, you're gonna be bulletproof. Okay, cool. So then why does A-Train get his leg shattered because he got hit with a pipe? I mean, what are you doing? So A-Train is just the punk? He's the one guy that his Compound V. I mean, maybe you could kind of go in and maybe you could fix it with supplementary material and say, oh, well, it was because of Compound V and he was addicted and all this. I don't know. I thought that was kind of weak. And also for a show that's kind of, the virtue signaling a little bit, and why is the black guy addicted to Compound V? Why you got to have the black guy, the drug addict? What's that? That seems a little racist, a little stereotypical. That's not right. The head popping. It was cool when the psycho in the psycho ward, the girl with the shaved head, and we don't really know anything about her. She's really weird. She does it. Oh, wow. That's, still was very over the top, but it's like, okay, that's something. But then it just, by the end of towards the end of the second season, it's like everybody's doing it. It's like, it's not that, it's just, it's like, it's on the list, and I don't mean everybody. There were 2 superheroes that did that. But to me, as for the story, it seemed really cheap. It's, like as a plot device, like every time our heroes, anti-heroes, whatever you want to call them, every time they get something laid out, ready to go, something unearned kind of happens, oh, we're popping heads. So I thought that was, while it really looked cool, and don't get me wrong, I think that cinematically, the photography, I mean, all that, that looked good to me. I mean, I never saw anything, a special effect that looked bad. And maybe that's a justification for not having some giant, big set piece. So I get that. Because we want to maintain a quality, right? So if we just keep throwing stuff in there, it's not going to look good, So, damn, my webcam is looking bad. Got to fix that. So I will say this though, there was a girl power fight in season 2 that I loved. I thought that was awesome. I was really into that. I thought that made sense. Maeve kind of jumping in at the last second. Okay, fine. But I thought that was cool. I was on board. That was cool. That to me was earned. It wasn't like they just sort of came out of nowhere all together. All just happened to be girls. Hey, let's have a girl power moment. That was really cool. I mean, I liked it. I mean, they were kicking ass, and it was awesome. I thought it was bad. I thought it was great. So that was definitely a plus. Some of these themes, I mean, come on. I mean, so I think that politics has inundated every freaking facet of our culture. Okay, it's sports, it's TV, it's movies, everything, right? And after a while, you're like, okay, we get it. Homelander's Trump. Oh, look, Nazis, actual legitimate Nazis. I mean, it's, it's come on, So now we have a legit actual Nazi, is standing right there with, Homelander, the guy with the American flag on his back, with the crowd there chanting away. It's like, oh God, here we go again. If these people are following Nazis, legit, not metaphorical, actual Nazis. So I thought that was a little heavy-handed. It's when my eyes freaking just rolled back in my head so far I could see my brain. It was bad. I thought that was like, because it's like, I understand you want to say something, you want to talk about this or talk about that, you want to have an opinion or have a message or whatever. That's fine. Okay, I get it. But it's everything. It's everything we do. And sometimes I just want to be entertained. I just want to maybe be taken off to a galaxy far, far away. But can't even have that anymore, can we? So the political stuff. And I will say this, I thought there was one thing they did that I thought was really, I think it was in poor taste. Okay. So season 1, Homelander lets everybody down the airplane, right? So the airplane goes down, and this is This is really sad. So the airplane goes down. All these people die. The children, mothers, fathers, everybody die. And then the first responders are on the coast. And Homelander is standing there. And he, word for word, quotes George Bush when George Bush was standing at the Twin Towers. I mean, they're like, we hear you. And he's like, I hear you. And the people that, did this are going to hear from all of us soon. I'm like, wow, really? I mean, for those of you who didn't live through 9/11, maybe it's no big deal. But damn, I thought that was a bridge too far. I thought you could have been a little more creative than that. But we heard from the writers that season 2 was going to be a little more political. Or, well, they didn't say political. It was going to have a message. Well, I think we got the message loud and clear. So, to kind of sum it up, I think for me, the reason why maybe I put so much emphasis on this, or maybe I dove into this a little bit too much, is because it's the absence of a stable DC Marvel cinematic universe. We don't have. We could look at this and say, "Oh, it's an outlier," but the DC's doing great things, Marvel's doing great things. So this is like a one-off and it's fine. But this is all the superhero content we have of any real quality. DC is. They don't know what they're doing. They're still trying to figure it out. One of the many examples is look at the movie we have coming up. We have Wonder Woman, 1984, a prequel to everything that was going on, currently in the whole Batman v Superman, the Justice League. It's a prequel. I don't think that they know what to do with their story. What do we do with these characters? How do we move it forward? Do we move it forward? Do we give up? Do we break it up? Flashpoint, Joker's over, the Joker's standalone over here, Batman over here, we don't know. And so when you don't have that, MCU is just like non-existent. I mean, they're just like hanging out. Hey, Black Widow, maybe, I don't know, streaming. No, look over here. It's really, it's frustrating. So I think that's why when you look at something like this, it's like, this just isn't an outlier. I think it's more of like, okay, this is all we have. So let's look at it. And it's taking all these people with super abilities that are just garbage, and let's highlight them. That's not what, when you look at superheroes, we think about, well, if I had superpowers, I'd probably be like them, right? We all have flaws, and I don't know that I would use it my powers in the right way. But, but that's boring when you really get down to it, when you think about it. The struggle is Batman and all his money and all of his physical prowess, and how does he use it? What does he do with it? Well, he's tormented, so he uses that. He has a strong core value set that he doesn't deviate from. He doesn't just kill people. That creates drama within itself. It would be easy for him just to kill Joker and it's done. He's a vigilante. He can do that. He doesn't do it, and so that creates stories for decades, right? Superman's the same way. It's like he's golly shucks, he's gee whiz. He's got all this power, but he will still abide by a code. That is interesting. The question of always, how far do I go? Too far, not enough, whatever. So to me, I think that's kind of why that, this is sort of salt in the wound of a lack of DC Marvel content, in my humblest of opinions. But yeah, so that's my 2 cents or $1 on that. So what do you guys think? Let me scroll back. Wow, there's been some comments. Ask it. Thomas, language. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm back. I'm blurry as hell, but I'm back. Camera's messing up on me. Tugs, hey, happy? I'm happy. You're happy. Everybody's happy. Oh, you're saying, hey, happy, too happy dinosaur. Echo Base, what's up, brother? How y'all doing? How you doing? Doing good? I hope so. I'm talking to you like you can respond to me. What the hell? Drink? It's just MB. It's not the good stuff. When you travel, you don't get the best stuff. And I'm gonna blame the Wi-Fi for my bad video quality. So I'm gonna go with. We're gonna go with that, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm blown away that everybody's stopping by. This is awesome. It's so great to see y'all. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what specifically you're talking about, but yeah, it was kind of weird. I mean, really, that the show just, and I think a lot of people, even fans of it, feel the same way. I think we lost something in season 2, and I think it's a lot of the messaging that they wanted to shoehorn in there. They shoved it in there, and I don't think that it's no pun intended. It was just not necessary. I think you could have given us a better story, and saved the messaging. I mean, it's like, here we go again. Oh, you know what? I almost moved on before I had to bring up this one point. All right, listen, this is a spoiler for the last episode. Help me, please, everybody. Oh, we got Post Scotty. Hey, what's up? Michael Brent still in there. Help you, somebody. Okay, anybody in this chat, help me out real quick. How did Homelander's son kill his mom? Seriously, because he freaking melted Stormfront, right? Blasted her with his heat vision and melted her ass. But the mom is sitting there holding her neck like she's got a laceration, like she's cut, like she's bleeding out. Well, how did that? Because Stormfront didn't have a knife, she was just choking her out, right? She was going to kill her. And I mean, that was weird to me. It's like, is you wanted to have her dying but not be all maimed for her scene so she could talk, and get through it. That was weird to me. It's like, why is she cut? Why is she bleeding? What happened? And I guess the assumption is that, he inadvertently kills his mom, and that's something he's going to have to overcome. Maybe even like that's not Batman. That's a whole nother issue. But I never understood why. How did she get that cut on her neck that she's bleeding out? That didn't make any sense to me. It's just weird. I thought that was weird. Stig, hey buddy, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing well. Okay, let's see. I assume that the hit her by accident, or the super grip of Storm may have ripped her throat. That would make sense. She's holding on and then she gets blasted by the heat vision or whatever, and then she, her hand kind of does. I guess that would make some sense. To me, it just seemed a little weird. She should have been there all like melted too, both of them blasted to hell and gone. Just blasted to hell and gone, and the trees all on fire, and she's gasping for breath, but I guess they didn't want that visual of the mom, burned to death. I don't know, but that would at least make some sense, right? Yeah, he got an eye twitch and he accidentally zapped her throat. Yeah, but he melted. I mean, he freaking, you saw, he melted Stormfront's ass down. She was, just limbs missing. And the mom just has a laceration. She has a cut on her neck. I didn't understand that. I didn't get that. That was just weird. It absolutely could have been done. But yeah, I think I like what they were doing. I like that this kid who's been sheltered, right, his entire upbringing, and then now he's going to have to wrestle with the fact that he killed his own mother, inadvertently, but still, he obviously knows that he has powers now. That's pretty apparent. Now, what do you do with that? Do you try to suppress it? Do you try to control it? I don't know. But you couple that with the fact that he killed his mom. I guess I kind of like that aspect. I just think that could have been handled a little bit better. Benzo H, what's up, man? How you doing? This is the pixelated 19K Fox show, the pixelated version of Bourbon Talk. So I'm gonna have I got notes, people. I got notes because I'm trying to be on top of it. We got a new segment. Folks. This is something I was kind of working on for a while, and just go with it, okay? It's a new segment I like to call "Everything is Canceled." Everything is canceled. Everything is closed, and it's really lame. Everything is canceled, and Corona's to blame, not the beer, the virus. All right, I'll be the first one to tell you that intro maybe needs a little bit of work. So we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about Sparkles. We're going to talk about Sparkles. Sparkles, the Batman. Oh God, listen, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist this. Listen, I was against this guy's casting from the beginning, and I think that it was probably not well founded. I just, Twilight, it was just a little too easy for me to do. So let's everything is canceled. The movie's not canceled. The movie's been delayed. So one of the caveats with this segment is going to be things that are affected by the beer bug. Okay, the virus. So in this case, it's been shifted to 2022, and it's not just the Chinese. It's not just the Kung flu that is to blame. Evidently, little Robbie, Sparkles Batman, doesn't want to work out and pump iron. That's caused a lot of issues on set. He's famously someone who is difficult to work with. It's probably fair to say for a lot of actors, especially actors that are popular and they have some success under their belt and all that. So I guess in some ways it's understandable, but to me, this article in GQ and this quote that we're going to go over really just sort of blows my mind. So let's check it out. The studio hired a trainer who left Pattinson with a Basu ball. I don't even know what a Basu ball is. A single weight and a sincere plea to use both. But right away, he says he's ignoring her. I think if you're working out all the time, you're part of the problem, he says, sighing. By you, he means other actors. You set a precedent. No one was doing this in the 70s. Even James Dean, he wasn't exactly ripped. He says that back when he was the star of the Twilight franchise, the one time they told me to take my shirt off, I think they told me to put it back on again. But Batman is Batman. Pattinson called another actor on the film, Zoe Kravitz, the other day, and she said she was exercising 5 days a week during their exile from the set. Pattinson said, well, literally, I'm just barely doing anything. He said, sighing again. There's a lot of dramatic sighing. He probably expended a lot of energy just to get through that interview, huh? Because he's kind of a dope. So let's, my personal feelings aside, okay? The guy doesn't want to work out. He doesn't want to get buff. He thinks that hell, even back in the 70s, guys weren't ripped. I mean, nobody back in the 70s was ripped. I mean, okay, well, Bruce Lee, sure, he was ripped, but that's just Bruce Lee, right? There was no other actor out there that in the 70s making movies that worked out and then maintained that for a long period of time and had an extended career. That never happened. Oh yeah. Well, there was that guy. Okay, so point taken. All right, those movies made in the late 60s, early 70s. So we'll just debunk that right now. But let's take a look at the Batmen. These are the great Batmen, the actors that have represented Batman in my lifetime. Well, I think the majority of the lifetime. I didn't get the pleasure of watching the original Batman. I was a little bit before my time. Adam West, may he rest in peace. We drink to that. But I think that there is. So let's go to Michael Keaton. I think that there is an argument to be made, and some people will make this argument that look at Michael Keaton. He wasn't ripped. He wasn't buff. That's true. He wasn't. He never really got bulked up. It was the first dark tone Batman. Adam West was obviously not dark. But I think that Michael Keaton had a different challenge because remember, he was this guy. Okay, that's who Michael Keaton was. I think his challenge was not just. It wasn't really physical. I think his challenge was more of, hey, I got to prove that I'm a legit actor. Now, I think he proved that he could be dramatic in parts and pieces in some of these movies. Mr. Mom was not a good example, but I think he had to prove his acting chops. I think that's where his challenge lies, right? So he worked on that part of himself. That's where I think he spent his time and focused his energies on. And he was a great Batman. He really was. 2 successful movies. I think he proved that he had this sort of the look and the seriousness, and I think that he was able to pull that off without the physicality. Whereas the other two guys in this picture, Val Kilmer was like in really good shape. You saw him in Top Gun, but that movie failed. So that's not even an argument to consider. George Clooney, come on, man. That's the worst Batman movie of all time, Batman and Robin. And he was a guy that was in pretty good shape also. And then we get to Christian Bale. Come on, Christian Bale. Now, Christian Bale, I think for him, he was a good actor. Established, good actor. Knew what he was doing, right? But he saw the value in bringing the physicality to the role. Remember the movie The Machinist? Check out this side-by-side picture. That is Christian Bale on the left and the right. That's how he looked when he filmed The Machinist. That's what he put himself through for that role. And then he majorly bulked up for Batman. He knew, being an established actor, that that's what he needed to do. That is exactly what he needed to do to make it happen, right? You bulk up because that's what the role calls for, because he had the acting down. Similar, in my mind, to Robert Pattinson. It's established that he can act. Is he a good actor? Well, but he can act, right? I mean, he has, emotional range. He can portray characters, but he just doesn't have the physicality. I think there's a lot of similarities to, Christian Bale. He saw the value in it. So what are you doing? And then the last guy on the list is, Ben Affleck. Now, whether you like the movie or not, Ben Affleck was probably, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, Bruce Waynes we've ever had. I think he was an awesome Bruce Wayne, and I think the physicality that he brought to the role, goes without saying. Check him out. And this was another kind of a tubby guy, but he saw the need to bring the physicality to the role because that's Batman's thing. Yes, Batman's rich, like the joke, in the Justice League. Oh, I'm rich. Well, that's not really his superpower, It's his intellect. Okay, it's his physicality. He is supposed to be the a physical specimen of perfection. The height of human agility and strength. And you have to do something to get that across. And I just don't think the Sparkles sitting on the floor crying, eating Special K. Looking at what are those handy wipes? What the hell is this picture even? What the hell? I know this isn't a Batman promo picture, but damn. Even his freaking cereal is wimpy. Eat some Raisin Bran or Grape Nuts or something, some nasty ass gravel cereal, all right? Manly cereal. What are we doing here? I'm sorry, Sparkles. I feel like that's probably what he's doing right now. I'm just laying here. I'm sitting here. I'm not going to work out. And I think what really sucks is you got a lot of other good actors that would have killed for this role. They would have killed for it. And they would have worked their asses off. And WB gave him a trainer and weight training equipment and said, man, this is all you got to do. Just kill it. Here's your salary. Here's all your weight training equipment. Here's all you just got to do it. You just got to do the work. And sometimes we know you got to get your ass up and do the work. That's it. And I think I just don't have a lot of patience for lazy people. When everybody else out there has to pull their weight. Now you're going to have stuntmen. They're going to have to come in and probably do more work or probably all the bat suit work. Where he should have been able to pull off some of the decent stuff. Now they're going to have to think about the costume designers that now have to factor all this in. Okay, how out of shape is he going to be? How much more padding do we have to add? We've got to now make these guys match. It can't be close. It's got to be identical. And then how are you going to pull off the Bruce Wayne scenes? He'll be so much more thin. You could try to play it off as an artistic choice. Like, well, you're going to see physically that he looks diminished as Bruce Wayne, but when he's Batman, he's big, strong Batman. Okay, but that was not the intent of the film. The intent of the film was to have him bulk up to play the duality of Batman, to actually be both. And I just don't think we're going to get that. It's just not going to happen. And it's pretty sad. It really is. All right, I apologize. I am neglecting the chat. I am neglecting chat. I gotta scroll up here. Oh my god, I got going over here too. Wow, y'all are killing me. Did I see Lorena? Hey girl, man, Bump Sparkles the vampire. I mean, listen, I know I'm giving him a hard time. I know this criticism isn't 100% justified, but I mean, dude's asking for it. When you say stuff like that, and it was a long article, ladies and gentlemen. If you read that article, there was a lot in that article. There's a lot going on there, and damn, it's just pathetic. It really is. Mr. Richard Kimball, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, so I appreciate that. Thanks, Christy. Yeah, if you don't mind, give the video a like. I'd appreciate it. Kind of signal out there, let people know that I'm back. The video quality is going to get much better. I promise. This is kind of a new setup. But when you're traveling, when it's mobile, there's only so much you can do. What is this? I wish we got a solo movie with him before BVS. I agree, Benzo. I agree. I think that you should have done something. You could have done something before we bring everybody together. DC it's funny. DC has the clout. They got the most recognizable superheroes, right? Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. They could have solo movies. Well, they have. I mean, I think with the exception of Wonder Woman, but Superman has had 4, 5, 6. You got 6 solo films with him, and they all make money. Okay, I mean, some of them more than others, but he's a draw by himself. Batman is a draw by himself. Wonder Woman, she's got 1 film under her belt. The second one is probably going to be good as well. You got these guys. They know that their strength is actually in their singularity. You could have all these solo films come out and really bank gangbusters and then bring everybody together. And you know who else knows this? Marvel. Marvel knows this because they were doing this. They back in the day, back in their first movie, okay, they teased the Avengers in Iron Man at the end of their very first movie because they knew that their strength was actually in the collective. It was actually in everybody coming together. That big movie where we have everybody playing off each other, strengths, weaknesses, and moving forward as a team. It was the team up movie was actually where the shared universe was going to be their strength. That was going to overshadow the singular entity of Superman or Batman, or Wonder Woman. And they knew that, and they baked that into the cake, and they knocked it out of the park. They did. Because as great as Iron Man is, and Captain America, and how many movies are you really going to be able to do with those characters, really? I mean, minus Robert Downey Jr., I don't know. If you didn't have that lightning in the bottle, how many Iron Man movies could you have made, really? How many Captain America movies could you have made, really? I mean, I think that in all these movies still tied into the bigger cinematic universe, and I think that's why people kept coming back for more, because there was something for everybody, and that bigger story was going to continue. So yeah, I think that's definitely, DC can't see it, but Marvel could see it. Blows my mind. And then DC freaked out and tried to catch up to Marvel, who recognized their own faults and frailties and knew that we have to be a team. We have to get everybody together. That's where our strength is going to be. That's what's going to have people coming back for more. And they saw that DC was, man, they're big and bad. They could have 1,000 Batman movies, one after another, and it's going to make money. They knew that, Okay, so yeah, I think that it's unfortunate. It really is that that we're going to have to get stuck with this guy. It's going to be a half-ass effort. You're going to have the Batman one and done, in my opinion. And it stinks. But Jeffrey Turner, 19K. If you really want to showcase Batman's detective skills in a movie, do it in an 80s montage style segment. I like the idea of moving it back. How about you take Ben Affleck? If you want him to be old man, Batman in the current time period, then back his movie up 20 years, 30 years, a little de-aging, you know, and you know, I think that you could do that, and I like the limitations of the 80s and some of the 90s, the technological limitations that you had to overcome back then. It really required a mind. It really did. You couldn't just rely on gadgets and tech. And I think that is. Are you liking the PlayStation shirt? Thank you. Yeah, I'm a huge PlayStation fan. But yeah, I think that would be a great way to do it. I think you set them back. You set them back in the 80s when you had those limitations, and man, you would really have to see some real detective work. You know, you can't just use your phone to fix all your problems back then. And then we see that, and we build up that Ben Affleck character, that Ben Affleck Batman. And by the time it's whenever that movie came out, 2017, 2016, whatever, by the time we're there, we have fallen in love with this Batman. We have seen him be a badass in the past. And now we want to see him go up against the biggest threat imaginable, which is Superman. And you make that your one movie. That's your one movie, you know, not all this other stuff. That's it.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up with something that I've kind of been thinking about for a while. You know, with the state of Star Wars being what it is, it's pushed a lot of people to the extended universe, the books, some of the old video games, and then I think it's for me at least, I'm drawn back to the original movies, and you always watch them, and I always like them, and that's nothing new. But I think what's new is that as I get older, I think all of us, you know, we get a little older, our views tend to change. And when I was young, I think a lot of us can identify with this. I don't think my situation is unique. I always identify with Luke. You know, Luke was the farm boy. He was the aw shucks guy, and you know, as he progressed in the movies, I could identify with him. You know, and as I got older, I could still identify with him. You're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, and you can identify with him. But then I rewatched Return of the Jedi, which is my favorite. It's always been my favorite because Luke becomes, you know, the man, and so much is wrapped up. But I want to look at this. I've cut this up, and I want to go through this scene, and I want to examine this and talk about it a little bit. So this is the scene at the very end of Return of the Jedi. This is when Luke is carrying not Vader but Anakin, and they're trying to evacuate the Death Star. Check it out.
Luke, help me take this mask off.
But you'll die.
Nothing can stop that now.
And it's in that scene that I think about, you know, okay, now you have Anakin. That's not Vader anymore. It's Anakin. And, you know, he just killed the Emperor. He's back to the light for the most part. I think the most that he could have expected in this part of his life. That's Anakin. And his son is carrying him, trying to escape. And as he's being carried by his son, helped along, everything has to rush back of all the times that he wasn't there for his son, that he wasn't a father, the mistakes that he had made, you know, everything from Padme's death, you know, to now, all that has to be flooding back. And this person that should hate him more than anybody in the universe is desperately trying to save him. And so he makes that request of, hey, my son, help me take this mask off so I can see with my own eyes. Let's look at the next part.
go, my son. Leave me.
No, you're coming with me. I'll not leave you here. I've got to save you.
And even in this moment, you see Luke's real weakness is that he wants to save his father. You know, he wanted to save Leia and Han. You know, from Cloud City. That was he left his training to go save them. He's still desperately trying to save his father. And I think that he, you know, a part of him knows that he can, right? I can do it. I knew that there was good in you, and I've seen it. We've all seen it. You just did the impossible. He's seen that, but he's still trying to save his dad, his father. That takes us to the last part of the scene, where I think that Anakin, not Vader, gives him the gift that only he could give him.
You already have, Luke. You were right. You were right about me. Tell your sister. You were right.
And it's in that moment, I think, again, Anakin gives Luke the thing that no one else could have. And I think in this, I think he had a little divine intervention. The light side of the Force allowed him to see his opportunity and gave him the words to say the thing that only he could say, and to give Luke the thing that only he could give him. It's the satisfaction that, you know, your mission's completed. You have saved me, you know. And I think at that point, the prophecy was truly fulfilled. And as a dad, that it hit me because, you know, not all of us have dads that are around. Not all of us have dads that maybe took the time to make something right. Maybe some of us have dads that didn't make it. They didn't live long enough to make things right. And some of us that are dads that are in need of making things right. And I think we need to take the opportunity to do that. And so for me, that it just makes the movie that much more powerful. And I think that is the benefit of telling these timeless stories about family. When you have those themes, it's universal, and you can pull so much out of it, and you can learn so much from it, and you can tell those stories, and you can look at that and say, see, it's never too late to try. It's never too late to make something right. And don't be so bullheaded and stupid that you don't take today to make it right. And so I find myself in Anakin's position more than Luke now. It's kind of weird, but as you get older, that's kind of what you do. And anyway, if the sequel trilogy would have spent more time on that, telling those types of stories, I think that it would have been, it would have been something that we could have consumed. You know, it may not have been exactly what we wanted, but it would have been something that we could have enjoyed. You know. So that's my rambling. But that hit me, and it was pretty powerful to think about it in that context. So, yes, Batman's superpower is adaptability. Absolutely, he adapted to one after another, all the bad guys, and he was able to overcome a lot. So, I actually have an idea for a 2-part Batman movie. I think there's a lot there. You could mine a lot of that. 19K Vox, I have to interview you for my channel one day. Let's make that happen. I would love to. That'd be great, Lorena. That'd be awesome. Eyeballs. Yeah, so like I said, it's something you look at and you take away something different every time you watch it. As your life experiences change, you tend to you see things deeper, and there's a depth to those movies, there's a depth to those stories. And like I said, a lot of us didn't have dads that were around that made that effort. You know what I mean? And I think that's it hits on a lot of themes that are real to a lot of people. But I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm at 1 hour. It's been great seeing everybody. I see that some people are going to bed. Listen, everybody, I'm serious. Thank you so much for coming back and putting up with my small absence and my camera issues and problems. It's been great hanging out and talking with you again. I want everybody to enjoy the rest of their week. I got to get back on the road and head back up to the Cincinnati area. I'm down in Alabama now. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a blessed weekend. And I will see you next time. Later.